Hi everyone, welcome back to the Social Media Simternship by Stukent. In this video, we are going to walk through round 6, our last paid social post round. So first thing we want to do is review our score from round 5. So here we can see we did score 100%, so we met our impressions goal and we met our revenue goal. So this is great, but we want to look to see what is it we did, so that way hopefully you can replicate this in your simulation. So if I look at my post, if I go to my post analytics, for this round I made one post on Facebook. I can see I had a total of 360,000 impressions and 105,000 in revenue. So this looks pretty good overall. If I look at my post feedback, here I can see that it tells me my headline needs improvement. The headline should be the hook. It should spark some curiosity or add urgency. So my headline needs to be revised. As a reminder, my headline for the last round in Facebook was built for every trail. So there's really no curiosity or urgency. So I understand that feedback. That makes sense. Then it tells me I targeted Daypacker Tom. I linked the OG backpack. So this was good. And it does say excellent job on your paid social post. So overall, this is a pretty good post. We just want to keep in mind our headline, that we want it to be sparking curiosity or adding some urgency. That makes sense. Let's go look at our Instagram post. So on Instagram, we had 401,000 impressions and we had over $92,000 in revenue. And our feedback for this post is good. So we had congratulations, perfect. So our information matched up. So here my headline was ready for what's next. So this probably would be considered maybe sparking some curiosity. So overall, it looks like what we created was a good fit for our up-and-comer Raj profile. So in this round, I would want to encourage you guys to replicate the things that are working well and obviously not continue things that are not going well. So if we went back to our post history and I went to my YouTube, if you remember on YouTube, I generated $0 in revenue with that ad. But if you remember, our call to action did not line up well and our demographics was out of focus. So as you're making your posts for your last round, I encourage you guys to review all of this feedback, take all of it into consideration as you're deciding what you want to create for round 6. For my round 6, I'm going to use 2 different platforms that we've not used yet in the paid rounds. So I am going to use X and I'm going to use TikTok. I'm hopeful that TikTok will perform well based on our social media audit. TikTok is not too far behind Facebook and Instagram. So if I'm looking at my reach, TikTok is about half of kind of Instagram, Facebook area, and then still under in the conversions, but you can see that it's much higher up than these other 3 platforms. Same thing for the reach. So that's why I'm going to try TikTok in this round, plus we've not used it as a paid post. And then because we've not posted anything on Twitter or X, I am going to create a post on X and we're going to see what will happen. So it's not the lowest in terms of reach and not the lowest in terms of conversions, but I'm not convinced it's going to be a high performer, but I want to create a post so that way you guys can see how it performs. All right, so going back through all of our standard information over here on the left-hand side. We have our scenario. Goals are the same. You have your inbox message. Similar to our previous weeks, we have our chat, and then we have the same market information. So for this round, I'm just going to go ahead and jump right in to creating our paid social posts. Our first post is going to be on TikTok. And for our objective in this round, I want to pick something different, something that we've not done in previous rounds. So first objective will be awareness. We will select reach. So we can click create content. And if we notice on TikTok, we have text, our media, call to action, website, daily budget, and our audience. So on TikTok, we have no headline. So first thing I want to do is select our media. And I'm going to select campus chat. So this video is $500 and it mentions a young woman sitting on a stone on a sunny university campus, holding a book, engaged in a conversation with her backpack. So we will select this one. Then for our caption, we will add classes, coffee runs, and study sessions. What's always in your backpack? Let's look at our audit and double check our character length. So on TikTok, we have between 40 and 100. So here we have 72, so this fits. Let's scroll down to our call to action. So remember in our campaign objective, we are looking for reach. So I'm going to select watch video. I think this should match, but we'll find out after we run the simulation. We've got a backpack. So let's click on the website URL. Let's use the OG backpack. And because my media was only $500, we're going to go ahead and allocate the full daily budget. So this way our entire post costs a total of $4,000 and we have $6,000 remaining. So let's now focus on our audience. So remember our audience is back to school Mindy. So we have ages 18 to 26, mostly female. So let's start with that. Then we can add our interests. Okay, we added 11 interests, and we can save this as Back to School Mindy. We should have everything complete for this post, so we can go ahead and select Schedule TikTok. And our second post is going to be on X, so we'll create a post. For this objective, let's go back to consideration and we will select engagement. If you notice back on X, we do have the headline again. So our headline, our caption, media, and then everything else looks the same. Let's go ahead and select our media. Let's search for beach. And we're going to select Beach Glow. So we have a young woman in a straw hat and sunglasses, smiles while walking on the sand, carrying a large beige tote bag by the water. So our media is $550. Let's now add our headline. For my headline, I'm going to write Beach Day Secrets. My caption will say, sun, sand, and everything you need in one tote. What's your beach day essential? Because my objective was engagement, I've got a couple options to select one. I could do watch video. That might be a little bit more towards the reach objective. I think I'm going to select learn more because I'm wanting these individuals to engage with my post. So my website URL, I'm going to use our Bahamas tote since we're at the beach. My media cost $550, so I can select the highest daily budget again. My total post cost is $4,050, so I still have a little bit of my budget remaining. Now I need to create my audience. So to go look at Seaside Sally, age range is 28 to 37 and female. So let's select female. And 28 to 37. For my interests, I'll add several. This time we've added 12 interests. We have beach travel, vacation planning, resorts, cruises, coastal living, fashion, shopping, swimming, fishing, sailing, sea, and family. We can save our audience. As Seaside Sally. And it looks like we have all the information we need. So we are ready to run our last set of paid social posts. And let's hope we did a good job. Okay, let's go ahead and click on start round 7. But we are not going to do round 7 yet. We just want to look at our scores. So overall, we did pretty well. We met our impressions goal and we met our revenue goal. So let's look at our posts, look at the feedback. The first one we had was on TikTok. So we had 387,000 views. We had over $73,000 in revenue. And let's look at our X post, 296,000 impressions and over $39,000 in revenue. So overall, it looks like both of these posts performed well. So let's click on TikTok to look at our feedback. And unfortunately, our call to action was not the right one. So go with proven call to actions like shop now and see offers. So even though our objective was reach, the simulation is telling us we should really go with call to actions like shop now or see offers. Okay, this is good feedback for us to have going forward. Otherwise, it looked like what we created was good for our back to school Mindy profile. Let's look at our post on X now. And look at our feedback. So some things to consider. Your headline should be clear, bold, and worth reading. Make it stand out. Okay. Again, they did not like our call to action. They wanted shop now or see offers. So this is something for you guys to keep in mind. Other than that, it looks like our Bahamas tote was good and the rest of the information we provided was a good match. So one thing I want to note in these paid post rounds is making sure everything matches. So going back to our documents and our market information, it is showing us that we want to make sure that what we're providing for our target audience matches with the actual audience. We also want to look at the review documents to look at our social media audit here. So kind of coming back up, overall, Twitter was not a really high performing, or X was not a really high performing platform, but we did see positive results. If I go back to our results, I can see if I look at my result history, let's scroll down, let's sort this by revenue from highest to lowest. So my top posts in terms of revenue are Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok. Then we do have X, but let's see the difference. So 98,000, 85,000, 70,000, and then 39,000. So our X post is about half the revenue that we generated on TikTok. So this is not surprising based on the information that we received in the documents and that audit information. So overall, hopefully these 3 videos, rounds 4, 5, and 6, help you guys get an idea of the types of posts that you should be creating and potentially the types of posts that you should not be creating. If you guys have any questions, don't hesitate to reach out, and I will see you back here for our next video on social media influencers.